In the endless expanse of golden dunes where the wind writes its timeless story upon the shifting sands, the voice of a falcon prince rises, soft yet commanding, tender yet fierce. It is Fazza, the poet of the desert, whose words are not just ink on parchment but flames on the horizon, whose heart carries the fragrance of longing, and whose soul is adorned with the silence of stars. His poetry is not born merely from thought, but from the rhythm of hooves, the cry of the falcon, the whisper of the sea, the gleam of the moon over the towers of Dubai. And as his verses unfurl, they hold within them the pulse of love, the dignity of honor, the eternity of dreams, the restlessness of a heart searching for its reflection in another soul. He walks the shore where the sea meets the desert, his eyes tracing the curve of the horizon, as if somewhere beyond it lies the answer to his yearning. The world sees him as a prince, but he carries himself as a lover, humble before beauty, surrendered before the mystery of destiny. He rides his horse not for glory but for freedom, his cloak billowing like wings of a falcon that knows no boundaries. And in the depth of his silence, poems awaken, born like spring from barren land, cascading like an oasis into the thirsty heart. The desert knows his steps, the moon knows his gaze, the winds carry his name through the palm groves, whispering it to the waves, echoing it in the stillness of midnight. When he writes with the ink of his own soul, spilling himself into verses that bloom like roses in the heart of the listener. His poetry is not a cage, it is a flight. It does not bind, it liberates. It does not command, it consoles. For Fazza's words are woven with sincerity, and sincerity is the most timeless fabric of love. He sings of loyalty, of the bond between man and land, between rider and steed, between lover and beloved. His verses rise like the morning sun over the dunes, casting light upon the hidden corners of longing. He sings of a woman whose presence is like water to the thirsty, like shade to the weary, like stars to the traveler. She is the secret fire in his heart, the hidden pearl in the ocean of his soul. Her eyes are two lanterns guiding him through the darkness, her smile the only horizon he wishes to reach. But love is not easy, not for a man whose life belongs to both crown and people. Between duty and desire, between silence and confession, Fazza's heart trembles like a falcon perched before flight. He longs to hold her name within his poems, to whisper her presence in his verses. Yet the weight of destiny often keeps him in silence. Still, even silence becomes poetry in his hands, for the desert too speaks in silences, and the stars never utter a word yet reveal all the mysteries of heaven. He recalls nights where the city lights of Dubai shimmered like fallen stars upon the water, and he wondered if she too looked at the same sky, if her heart too whispered his name into the wind. Beneath the endless sky where stars weave their silent songs, the voice of Fazza rises like a falcon over dunes, carried by the wind of memory and the breath of longing. His poetry is not bound by paper or pen, but etched into the rhythm of hooves across golden sands, into the soft call of the sea touching the shores of Dubai, into the prayer of a heart that beats with love and loyalty. He speaks of courage that does not tremble before storms, of tenderness that blooms even in the desert's fiercest heat, of dreams that soar higher than the tallest towers, yet bend humbly before the horizon of faith. Every verse he gives is a journey, and in that journey lies a mirror of the soul, a reminder that greatness is not found in crowns or palaces, but in the purity of a heart that carries kindness like a flame in the dark. He writes of horses, their gallop a thunder that awakens destiny, their breath a whisper of freedom that no chain can restrain. He writes of falcons, eyes piercing the unseen, wings carving paths where none have dared to fly. He writes of the desert, where silence itself is alive, where each grain of sand remembers the footprints of ancestors who carried honor upon their shoulders. But above all, he writes of love. Love not only for a beloved face, but for land, for people, for God. His love is vast, flowing like an endless sea, yet precise as a drop of dew on a rose in dawn's first light. It is a love that waits patiently, that speaks softly, that holds strength even in silence. In his words, a beloved becomes the sun rising over a tired heart, the moon guiding through uncertain nights, the oasis in a wilderness of sorrow. The poetry unfolds like a river, steady and unbroken. His verses move as if they were woven from the wind itself, never repeating yet always echoing the same truth, that the spirit of man finds its nobility in devotion, in loyalty, in love. Fazza's voice carries stories of hidden meetings beneath the silver glow of stars, of secrets carved in the sand only to be swept away by morning winds, of promises whispered on mountain ridges where only falcons hear. He sings of journeys where the heart wanders far yet always finds its way back to the beloved, like the tide to the shore. Each line drifts into another, carrying images of dawns where horses wait saddled for adventure, of nights where a single star is enough to guide, of afternoons heavy with the fragrance of jasmine and oud, of evenings where the desert breathes warmth into silence. His poetry paints the unseen, where the beloved's eyes are an ocean in which kingdoms drown, where her smile is a lantern for 1,000 weary travelers, where her silence is louder than any storm. Yet beyond romance, his words carry a deeper vow, to his people, to his land. He speaks as one who knows that heritage is not in books but in living hearts, that tomorrow is born only when today is guarded with wisdom.